Hello and welcome to A Genteel Black Hole, the home of my bookish rambles. My name's Ali, and I've just become a Moomins fan. I don't particularly have any nostalgia for the Moomins. I was aware of them since I was a kid. I remember the cartoon being a thing, but I never watched it. I was never really drawn to it. And yeah, it just kind of passed me by. So it's with some surprise that at the age of 39, I am suddenly declaring myself a Moomins fan. Last month, and indeed most of the rest of this year, I've been reading quite a lot of pretty heavy, pretty depressing adult fiction, and I felt it was about time to nurture my inner child a bit more. And I've been meaning to check out the Moomins for a while. I kept seeing them around the place and finding myself intrigued by them. So last week I decided to try my very first Moomins book, and I fell completely head over heels in love with it. But before I tell you about that, first, let me tell you about what the Moomins are, just in case you're not familiar. Moomins are a type of troll, but unlike traditional trolls of folklore, they're not hairy and scary and mean. In fact, they're kind of soft and rounded and friendly, and they look something like this. They were created by the Finnish author Tove Jansson. The first book was published in Finland in 1945, and there are, I think, 9 novels in total, plus a series of comic books which Tove Jansson wrote and illustrated until her brother took over a bit later. But the core creative force behind the Moomins, both in writing and illustration, was Tove Jansson. Her third Moomins book was the first one to be translated into English in 1950, and since then it's gone on to be something of an international phenomenon, with plenty of film and TV adaptations, and there's even video games, there's copious merchandise. It's a whole thing. So even if you've not read a Moomins book, you've probably seen them around. The central characters of the series are the young Moomin troll, or I think in some translations he's just referred to as Moomin, and then his parents, Moomin Papa and Moomin Mama. They live together in a blue house in Moomin Valley, and throughout the series they take in various house guests, including Sniff, the Snork and his sister, the Snork Maiden, Snufkin, the Hemulin, and so on. Also Little Mai, but I haven't got as far as the books that she's in yet. The first book that I read is actually the second in the series, Comet in Moominland, which was originally published in 1946. It's all about Moomin Troll and his friend Sniff going on a journey to the Lonely Mountains to visit the observatory at the top, where they want to ask the astronomers whether the comet, which is getting closer and closer to Moomin Valley, poses any threat. Along the way, they meet various people who become friends, including, most significantly, Snufkin and the Snork and Snork Maiden. And they also meet several of the Hemulans. It's an utterly charming read. The characters are instantly endearing, and the illustrations add a hell of a lot to that. Tove Jansson's art style is so beautiful and charming and welcoming, and And the fact that she doesn't really describe the characters in prose, you do need those illustrations to really be able to picture who the characters are, what they really look like. It's so instantly endearing, and there's a kind of sadness underlying it all, which I think kind of keeps it from being sort of twee and cloying. It's not that. It's cute, but it's not cutesy. And yeah, I just really loved it. And in fact, I was raving to my friends about how great it was even before I'd finished it. And while I was in the middle of that book, this lovely gift arrived from my best friend Rachel. It's a coaster with Snufkin and Moomin Troll on it, and a quote from the book I was reading. And I loved Comet in Moomin Land so much that I wasn't ready to leave Moomin Valley immediately after finishing it. So I started reading the next book right away, and that was Finn Family Moomin Troll, which was the third in the series, but also the first to be published in English. So I think the original Finnish title translates to something like The Hobgoblin's Hat, but because this, in the translated version, was kind of intended to be an introduction, it got called Finn Family Moomin Troll instead. In this book, Moomin Troll and his friends find a discarded hat, and it turns out to be a hobgoblin's hat, and it has magical properties. So when the family start using it as a waste paper basket, strange things start happening. One thing that I don't think is strange is that I loved this book too. Almost as much as Comet in Moomin Land. I think Comet has a little bit more melancholy in it, which appeals to me a bit more. But this is also just utterly delightful. I particularly fell in love with the Hemulin in this book. The Hemulins as a people are kind of, they're very autistic coded, in that they all seem to have a special interest of their own. And in Finn Family Moomin Troll, the Hemulin who is staying with the Moomin family, he becomes kind of depressed because he is a stamp collector, and he has finished collecting all the stamps, which leaves him with nothing to do. As he points out, it's more fun being a collector than merely an owner. So if he's already got all the stamps, what is he supposed to do now? Luckily, they do find a new hobby for the Hemulin, and he becomes a botanist, which then kind of plays slightly into the plot of the book as well. But I mean, only in a passing way. But yeah, I love the Hemulin, and I love all the characters. They're just all so endearing and charming, and there's a beautiful acceptance of everyone's differences and their quirks and their little ways that just, without sort of preaching, without trying to be a very special lesson for children, just kind of demonstrates a warmth and acceptance that I think the world needs a lot more of. In fact, while I was falling down a Wikipedia rabbit hole, I found this quote from the Icelandic musician Björk. She provided a song for a 2010 film adaptation of Comet in Moomin Land, which I haven't seen yet, but in an interview, she summed up the appeal of the Moomins, I think, perfectly. This is what she said. It's funny and sad at the same time. And the relationship to nature Tove Jansson has, that's very important to me. And everybody's allowed to be just as eccentric as they are. They don't have to conform. Reading to my children, I actually noticed some kind of anti-authority aspect in it. There's no hierarchy between the characters. They're all equal. I like that a lot. Reading The Moomins recently has provided me with some valuable lessons. For one thing, it reminded me how great children's literature can be, even as an adult reader. The Moomins was great self-care for me recently, when the world is big and scary and doesn't quite make sense. It was comforting and reassuring to read something that's got so much kindness and warmth and heart in it. The way that the characters accept each other despite their differences feels so heartwarming, and in a way that doesn't feel kind of perfunctory, and it doesn't feel like it's preaching at the reader. It's just a kind of baseline level of, yeah, of course we accept each other, no matter how eccentric. Of course, another reason why I love the Moomins so much could be because I do have a soft spot for cute creatures with big noses. And, like Björk said, it is funny and sad at the same time, which is probably my favourite combination for a thing to be, whether it's aimed at children or adults. I'm really glad to have discovered this newfound love for the Moomins. It's something that I can already feel that I am going to treasure as I read through the rest of the series. And yeah, it just goes to show you that it's never too late to read a children's book. But how about you? Are you a Moomins fan too? Have you read the books, or seen the cartoon, or played the video game? Maybe let me know in the comments who your favourite Moomins character is, or what other children's classics I might have missed out on, or, you know, whatever else you might want to tell me. Whatever you have to say, I'm always happy to hear from you. But that's about it from me today. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will see you when I see you.